Hey guys, this is Josh with Rocky Mountain, and this is our Honda CRF230F bike build. Alright guys, so the CRF230F has been really a staple in Honda's trail lineup for a long time. It's been around for a long time. They haven't really changed much. The last few years, they did update the plastics, but it really just suits a wide range of riders, from beginners all the way up to people that mod these things out for single track and woods riding. It really is quite popular. And a couple of things that really make it popular is it's got the full-size wheels, it's got a 21-inch front and an 18-inch rear, and it's also got a low seat height for those vertically challenged riders, and it's got a 6-speed transmission, and the air-cooled engine is extremely reliable. These things can really, they last forever, and a lot of people say you can ride these things up a tree if you wanted to. So for today's bike build, we're going to go over some of the parts that we've added to this thing to make it even more durable, run even better, and last even longer, and really just add to this already great bike that Honda has produced. So the first category I want to cover with the CRF230 is performance. So from the factory, this bike comes really choked up. It's jetted really lean. It's hard to warm up when you first get it started. And then even when it's running, it's kind of rough all the way through the RPMs. So there's a few things that we did to really open this bike up and give it new life. So the first thing we did is with the airbox and the air filter. So on the airbox, there's a snorkel up on top, and this just really restricts the airflow to the airbox. And so we took that out, and then we added a Tusk air filter. And this is just a really great upgrade from the stock air filter. The air filter, it breathes a lot better. It's also easier to clean. From there, we went on to the jetting. So like I said before, from the factory, it's jetted super lean. And here in Utah, even at 4,500 feet of elevation, it's still too lean. So we went for the main jet, we went to a 125 main jet. This really just opens up the mid-range and low range when you're riding the bike. And then we also went to a 45 pilot jet, and that really helps with the idling. So when you have the cold starts, and getting this thing warmed up and having it not be so cold-blooded. Now from there, we added the Pro Circuit T4 spark arrested exhaust. This is a stainless steel exhaust, and not only does it really help open up the machine, it does have a good tone to it. It makes it sound a lot better, but one of the biggest things with this is that since it is stainless steel, it's actually about 5 pounds of weight savings over the stock exhaust. And anyone who's ridden a 230 knows that they're not super light bikes, and so the 5 pounds of weight savings is definitely a welcomed upgrade. And then from there, we also added a universal heat shield to the T4 exhaust, just because it doesn't come with one from Pro Circuit, so we added that just to keep your gear safe. The next thing we did for performance is went after the gearing. So in stock form, the 230 is geared really low, almost to the point where the first gear is almost unusable because it's so torquey. Now, for some people, this may be a perk because, especially if you're a beginner, you may like to be able to putt around and go slow. But now that we've opened up the power on this thing, we really wanted to stretch its legs out and make all the gears a little bit more usable. So what we did is we added the primary drive 14-tooth front sprocket and went down to a 48 sprocket on the back. And this really just helps stretch this thing's legs and open it up a little bit. And then on top of that, we added the primary drive gold X-ring chain. Not only do these look great, but it's just a great durability option, especially for desert racing and woods racing. You can just rely on it to last a long time. Now, one of the last things we added to this bike as far as performance goes is the headlight. So to do that, we had to up the wattage in the stator. So we added the Trail Tech stator. This brings the stock 30 watts up to 70 watts. And then it allows us to run the headlight. And for the headlight, we went with the universal Polysport Halo headlight, and then added a Tusk LED bulb to the inside. And this is just a lot brighter than the halogen lights that it comes with stock. And this is just a nice option so you can ride at night. Now moving on from performance, let's talk about handling a little bit, specifically the suspension. So for anyone that's ridden a 230, especially if you're, say, over 130 pounds, you know that the suspension's really soft, the forks are really plush, and it can be good for low speed technical stuff, but once you start getting going fast, you're going to start bottoming this thing out. And for this bike, this is actually my wife's bike, and so we actually didn't modify the suspension just because it does work for what she does, and she's more of a beginner rider. Now, we do have options for the front forks and the spring upgrade, and this will make it a lot more usable, especially for your heavier riders, just so you can kind of hit things harder, you can push a little bit farther without that thing bottoming out quite as much. Now, moving on from there with handling, we added the Bridgestone Battlecross X30 intermediate tires. These are just a really welcomed upgrade from the stock tires. The stock tires do their job, but these are going to be a lot better in a wider range of terrain. Now, moving on from there, we added the IMS Super Stock pegs. The stock foot pegs on the CRF230, they're really small and they just don't offer a lot of grip, and these give a wider platform and even more grip from there. The next thing we added for handling is the Pro Taper 7/8 aluminum bars. We added the CR High Bend to this bike. It really just lifts them up a little bit, especially for riders who like to stand up. And the aluminum bars are also a lot stronger than the stock steel bars, which bend basically the first time you tip it over. Now, the last thing we added as far as handling goes is we added the Tusk Lithium battery to this bike. Now, the stock battery worked fine, but the lithium battery is super lightweight, and over stock, it saves about 6.5 pounds. And like I said before, if you've ridden this bike before, it's kind of heavy. And so those 6.5 pounds are very welcomed. Now, moving on from handling, we're going to talk about protection a little bit for this bike. Now, whether you're a beginner and you tip over a lot, or you're just a woods rider and want to protect your hands, handguards are a total must. So we added the Tusk D-Flex Pro handguards. They're a great wraparound handguard. They protect your hands, and also if you do tip it over a lot, you're going to protect your levers and not have to replace them as much. Now, moving on from there, we added the Ricochet aluminum skid plate to the bottom. The bike comes with a stock plastic skid plate, but it only covers the frame and doesn't really protect the sides of the cases on the engine. And so this has wide wings that really protect the whole entire engine. And then to add to that, we actually added the Tusk skid plate foam, and this really just helps with the noise level from the engine not bouncing up and keeping the bike quiet while you're riding it. Now, the last thing we added for protection is the Tusk aluminum brake pedal. Now, a lot of you might think, what does that actually protect, or why is that a protection item? Well, the stock brake pedal, it's made from cast, so it actually bends really easy. So with this Tusk one, it's made from aluminum, so it's a lot stronger, it's got more grip. And what's really nice about this is, since the brake pedal is so long, it comes with an anchored cable, and so you can anchor your brake pedal to your skid plate or your frame or a bolt. And what that does is that if you're riding through bush or like rocks or anything, if the brake pedal gets snagged by anything, it's not going to rip away from the bike and break the brake pedal. So it really just adds to the protection of the brake pedal and also the longevity of that. Now, the last thing I want to cover with you guys is aesthetics and then personalizing the bike for you. So to start off, the stock plastics were a little bit beat up on this bike, so we went with the UFO replacement plastic kit, and they look really great and they also fit really great, and it's just a good replacement if yours are beat up as well. And then we went with the Attack Graphics Havix custom graphics kit, and it really just makes the bike look great. Attack Graphics did an awesome job in personalizing it for us. And also, we got the Attack Graphics black seat cover. This is just a good option if you want a little bit more customization. It also offers a little bit more grip than the stock seat. Now, to finish it all off and really tie the bike together, we added a few more things to personalize the bike. We added some Pro Taper grips, we added some Tusk levers and gas cap, and then some engine plugs and some red bling parts, really just to tie it all together and make the bike look great. Okay, so that completes our 2015 CRF230F bike build. Now, like I said before, this is a really great bike. It's really universal for a wide range of riders, from beginners all the way up to single track and woods riders, and you really can personalize it to fit your needs. Now, if you have any questions about any of the parts that we put on this bike, make sure and put those in the comments below. Also, we'd love to hear about your bike and some of your favorite parts that you've put on your CRF230. Now, if you like content like this, make sure and hit that subscribe button. We're always putting out top 5s, bike builds, and product spotlights to help you guys out and also keep you guys in the loop. Thanks for watching.